G'day, this is Jack again from Tasmania, and I've got a spring edition for you of my garden, permaculture garden. It's been about 2 or 3 months since our last video. Let's go have a look. First of all, with the greenhouse, I've got things happening down here. I've got some cucumbers growing in there, some brandywine tomatoes, some beefsteak tomatoes, some capsicum further down in the corner, and there's some snow peas. I've got in here all sorts of things going on, getting ready for summer. I just wanted to talk to you about mulch for a second here. This is mulch here. I use pea straw. Mulching, most people think that mulching is just to retain the water in the soil, but it's not only just to retain the water, it also breaks down over time, and it becomes humus, which is like when you see really black soil, and that's sort of what you want when you're gardening. It's something that a lot of gardeners and a lot of modern farming techniques don't worry about these days, because they tend to use the NPK type fertilizers instead of going for a holistic organic approach. And the thing with mulch is that it attracts a lot of beneficial creatures to your garden that also repel any of the sort of things that you don't want in your garden. You could have a slug in this sort of terrain. A slug's going to take so long to crawl over every single bit of pea straw to get to the next plant. You know, it might take him a day, you know. So whereas if we didn't have any pea straw, that slug could wipe out this crop and then go wipe out that crop and that crop all in one day. So that's another benefit, and also it attracts microbes in the soil, which is what we want as well. So the microbes pretty much all work in symbionts together to create like really great dynamic soil, and that's what you want when you're growing vegetables. Okay, so we'll just move on out here. One of the biggest problems with a greenhouse is trying to attract bees. So one of the things I've done here is plant borage right at the entrance. So hopefully the plan is to attract the bees here, and then they'll come in through the entrance of the greenhouse and hopefully fertilize my tomatoes and my cucumbers and so forth. Also out the front here I've got chamomile. This is a chamomile bush that I've put in, that you saw in an earlier video. In winter I actually put that in, and it's probably pretty much quadrupled in size now. That's also a beneficial insect attracting plant, as well as coriander, which is also a companion plant and also close to my house, so that I can just come out and pick it. So let's just move on now. I'm just going to take you down to the pond. Just come this way. Okay, so with the pond, what I've done here is I've started to put a few plants in to oxygenate the water, and also started planting plants on the outside of the pond. For example, this here is called rainbow parsley, and it's edible. Tastes a little bit different to parsley. It's actually quite nice, and that will sort of grow on the edge. And having a pond, there's like a completely different ecosystem that gets created from the pond to your land. So you need to create an edge on the pond. And what I have here is Centella asiatica, which is goji-cola, and, well, they say arthritis herb, I think, in the nurseries and that sort of thing. But this is a really beneficial herb. They say if you eat 1 or 2 leaves a day, you'll live till 100. Another thing that likes moist soil, like the Centella or goji-cola, the pond, when it fills up, it overflows and seeps through into this sort of area. So you can see how moist the soil becomes. This here is sorrel, which really enjoys that moist soil, which is also really healthy, edible plant. And it's got a beautiful tang to it, really delicious. And then over here I've got, down here I have just planted some old Ayurvedic herb called Brahmi. You can only just see it just starting in here, and that will also grow into the water, help oxygenate the water. Brahmi is really good for memory. It's a memory herb, and that's something else you can pick daily, and it's really good for us as well. And over here I've just put in a prostrate rosemary, which is a rosemary plant, also good for memory, which is interesting. This is sort of like the memory section of the pond. The rosemary, the idea is to cover all this sort of area of the pond so that it creates a habitat for different types of animals coming in and out of the pond, and also is beautiful, and also is another one that you can pick and eat daily if that's what you want to do. Here I've got some black bamboo. Bamboo is great for any uses in the garden. I mean, just using one stick of bamboo as a garden stake is just one example. In there I've got a lily. It's a couple of lily pads in there, and hopefully in summer I can show you some blossoms on that one. So anyway, I've made a few additions to the chicken tractor. Come and I'll show you. This is my first year growing asparagus. So they're very small sort of shoots at the moment. The idea is to let them grow into a bush the first year and don't harvest them at all. Asparagus loves mulch and it loves fertilizer, and there's this mulch thing again, this mulch theme throughout your gardening. It's really important to mulch asparagus because it loves to be moist and it loves food. Asparagus can handle seaweed, so seaweed is my preferred mulch because it's cheap, it's free, and it's also really beneficial for us. You get all these supplements these days, like kelp and spirulina, and there's just thousands of different seaweed supplements you can buy. I don't see the reason to go and buy a supplement like that when you're putting it on your garden and it's mulching into the soil, and then your plants are drawing those nutrients, and then you're eating the plants. So yeah, anyway, come with me, we'll look at the chicken coop. Yeah, so this is the modified chicken tractor. I've actually got 14 chickens in there at the moment. If you come around this way, this here is an orange cox pippin apple tree with a cute little blossom on it. And this is another thing about mulching as well. Sometimes if you don't have any mulch around, just use cardboard. Just old pieces of cardboard are really great for mulching the ground. As long as you can cover the ground with something like cardboard or pea straw or seaweed, whatever it is you've got, it will work. So that's what we're doing here. It might look a little bit messy, but at the end of the day, it's gonna be beneficial for your garden, your soil, and for your vegetables. Anyway, come over here. I don't know if you can see the little chickens in here that are... Let's have a look, see if we can... I've built a little bit of a house here for them. There they are, just up in there. They're nicely insulated in all the straw, so they're nice and warm at night time. Yeah, so there you go. Now I'm just going to show you a few little blossoms. This is a blueberry that I planted about a year ago, and you can see there's just absolute copious amounts of blueberries starting on there. And there's another one just right next to it. And then you come down here, you can see the broad beans. The broad beans are just starting to create fruit, so they're not far away from getting in the belly. And we go further down here, we've got the raspberries are all starting to grow really well, and I've got strawberries down at the base of the raspberries, you can see down here. So they work beautifully together, and they both love a lot of mulch, and they both love moisture. So that's a good combination to grow together. Over here we have our nashi, which is pretty much finished blooming now and it's about to go into fruit. And then further over here we have a comfrey. This is another medicinal plant. It's called bone knit, they call it. And if you ever get something wrong with your bone, like a fracture or a break, you can make a poultice out of this. Pretty much mash the leaves up and place it on the area, and apparently it's supposed to knit the bone, and that's why it's called bone knit. But it's also really packed with nutrients. It's really dense, and it's great for your garden. And it's great even just to rip leaves off, and once it gets a little bit bigger, rip the leaves off, and then that becomes mulch as well. So coming this way, we've got another little comfrey here. They're great beneficial insect attractors as well, which is one of the reasons why I've planted it next to the pink lady here. And I just wanted to show you the beautiful pink lady and why she's called a pink lady. Just absolutely beautiful pink flower on it. These are my free-ranging chickens. It's really important to eat free-range eggs. As you know, they can be up to 4 times more nutritious than your cage egg varieties, and I've found that even when I compare my chicken's eggs to the free-range chicken eggs that you get in the supermarket, mine are so much yellower and they're so much more tasty. So that's good enough evidence for me to have my own chickens. I've got a couple of little olive trees here which are just starting out. They're a long way from ever producing any olives, but they'll get there eventually. Oh, and then over here, this is an almond tree I put in last year, and I think I put it in the wrong spot. You can see how big those almonds are already. There's only a couple on there, but it's very exciting to see a couple on there. And yeah, I've never actually seen an almond on the tree myself, and I'm really excited, and I hope you get inspired by whatever it is that you've seen today. And thanks for listening, and make sure you remember to have fun.